Says, coming from Israeli army this time, from the Zionist forces, 3 soldiers killed in combat in northern Gaza. We'll talk about this report more in details, but I want to share with you something else. Iran is now talking about Syria's sovereignty, warns against becoming a terrorism haven. Now, what Iran is afraid of from Syria is that the Syrian government, the one right now in charge, could actually encourage, help, or even supply weapons to its military or to outside military militias, even to tackle Iran. I don't think that will happen simply because of Iran's good relationship with Turkey. And we know the Syrian government will be helped and supported by Turkey. Nevertheless, Iran is still very, very suspicious as to what might happen to it after they have formed a complete government in Syria. Iran affirmed its support for Syria's sovereignty on Monday and said the country should not become quote-unquote a haven for terrorism after the fall of the regime leader Bashar al-Assad. Our principled position, quote, on Syria is very clear, preserving the sovereignty and integrity of Syria for the people of Syria to decide on its future without destructive foreign interferences. Now, I do not know exactly what they mean by that, foreign interference, destructive foreign interference, but definitely they are pointing towards Israel, that they might supply weapons, supply funding, even give money to those government agencies or the government itself or those militias, because remember, to clean up the entire Syrian territories from all of these militias that are still in action would be very, very difficult, if not impossible. So there could be some groups that would still be receiving funding without the knowledge of the Syrian government that will work against Iran. And this is probably what Iran is alluding to when they said without the interference of destructive foreign forces. Again, I mean, other than Israel, Iran doesn't really have anybody else to worry. I don't think he was the spokesman Ismail Baghei meant about when he said the destructive foreign force. I don't think he meant Turkey at all. He added that the country should not, quote unquote, become a haven for terrorism, saying such an outcome would have repercussions for countries in the region. Assad fled Syria earlier this month, as we all know. I'm not going to be sharing that anymore, but it is something that Iran right now is thinking, and they're very much focused as to what is happening inside of Syria. Now, when we talk about whining, crying, most of the time what comes to our minds, the babies, kids, they always whine, they always cry. But I think there is another being that is acting like a baby, a maniac, a narcissist, obviously. They're all the time whining and crying and complaining about things. Now, Israel, they asked their diplomats to seek Houthis listing as terrorists. Now, Houthis are being listed as a terrorist by many countries, including Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates. Then you have Australia, Canada. They have all listed Houthis as terrorist organization, including United States, of course. And now they want the entire European countries to designate Houthis as the terrorists. The designation by these major countries, not enough. What Israel wants, well, I want all of the European countries to bow down to me and forget about what I'm doing in Gaza. I'm committing genocide. Don't think about the genocide. We're so good people just doing self-defense stuff, nothing more than that. But hey, Houthis, they're bad. They're bad. You have to tell them, you guys are terrorists, and we will deal with you, and you will be sanctioned. I mean, these are the main, the real danger. The Houthis are the real dangers. We are not the real danger. And this is exactly what they are now parroting. Israel has instructed its diplomatic missions in Europe to try to get the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen designated as a terrorist organization. This is nothing new. That's what they do all the time. The Zionist state whine about everything. The Houthis have repeatedly fired drones and missiles towards Israel in what the group describes as acts of solidarity with the Palestinians fighting Israeli forces in Gaza. But I have my own reason why Houthis are attacking Israel, and I explained that to you in my previous videos. The attacks Nevertheless, from the Houthis, disrupted international shipping routes, forcing farms to reroute to longer and more expensive journeys that have in turn stoked fears over global inflation. So again, we are not the terrorists. We are doing just some self-defense thing. The Houthis, they are bad people. Oh my God, and just like crying like a baby. Now, the head of the state, Netanyahu, he's a corrupt person. We all know that. Who else is so corrupt? You don't have to go too far. His own wife. Several police complaints, this is what is coming in the news. Several police complaints have been filed against Sarah Netanyahu, the wife of the Netanyahu, Sarah the Harpi, due to allegations of witness intimidation and harassment revealed by Israel's Channel 12 investigative program. When I was looking at those pictures coming from Gaza, it was so saddening, right? I thought maybe Sarah will divorce her husband for what he is doing in Gaza with the children. But I didn't realize this Sarah is a harpy. Do you know who is a harpy? A woman monster. In a rough English translation. She is. And now with her action, she is proving just that. What she does, she bullied people. She always forces other people to bow down to her request, to her demand, I should say, not request. If they don't listen to her, what they do? Yeah, she threatens them, she intimidates them, and she does a lot of things. The complaints include attempts to intimidate a witness in the Prime Minister's criminal trial and incite harassment against legal officials and critics of the Netanyahu family. According to the Times of Israel, witness intimidation and subverting testimony carry penalties of up to 3 and 7 years in prison. She should go in prison and rot there, that monster. The UVDA or UVDA report shared messages from Benjamin Netanyahu's late aide, Hani Blewis, stating Sarah the Harpi and the Prime Minister's son were involved in efforts to undermine political opponents, influence his corruption trial, and target protesters while seeking to reward complaint police officers. When the whole country is being decimated by the Hezbollah entity, we know that what Hezbollah did with all the rocket and missiles, it was absolute disaster for Israel. When the ITF forces are fighting in Lebanon, getting killed, even including Gaza, and I'll share the report in a second what is happening in Gaza, when all of this chaotic taking place inside of Israel, who is relaxing and chilling? It's his son and his wife. So my question to the Zionists is, how do you make sense of any of this? Like, your prime minister is so corrupt. How can you follow his order? Oh, come on. You don't have, a lot of you are protesting, I know that, but should he be elected in the first place? Should he be kicked out? Should there be a revolution? I know people should revolt and storm his residence and kick him out from the country, or hang him, maybe, we don't know. But the people, what are you doing? Protesting only? Like, this guy is beyond corrupt, and now his wife is harassing officials. She is trying to intimidate the Netanyahu, his opponent parties, and the list goes on and on and on. Sarah Netanyahu allegedly directed Blewis to organize Likud activists to harass their neighbors for opposing the prime minister. This is just the beginning. What you're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg from Sarah, the Harpi, because they do a lot worse than this. Well, that is why, because of this kind of action, these evil doings, they're also getting pounded in Gaza. They cannot win against a small military or a small militia, not a military. So Israel army says 3 soldiers killed in combat in northern Gaza. Every time they go on a 1-on-1 combat, they lose. They run away or they lose their lives. The Israeli military said 3 soldiers were killed in combat in northern Gaza on Monday, where troops are engaged in a sweeping offensive against Hamas militants. 2 soldiers, both aged 21, and a third aged 22, fell during combat in northern Gaza. The military said, bringing its losses to 389 since it launched a ground offensive in the Gaza Strip October 27th last year. So 389 is really not the number. It is being deflated because In just the last few weeks, I can easily count, if I look back at my videos, I can easily count at least 100 to 150 got killed, but just by the admission of the Zionist forces. So 389, to me, it is being deflated, and the reason for that is because they don't want to be ashamed. They don't want their egos to be hurt in the world stage, that they cannot win against a small militia. Rather, they're getting killed. Now, we talk about a lot of personality these days, but this guy doesn't get much of the attention. Now I need to bring this topic up because this guy is becoming absolute disaster, and he is Elon Musk. So Middle East Monitor, they wrote an article about him, and this guy, his name is Nassim. He wrote, and he said this: we need to ask if Elon Musk, with his unparalleled reach and influence, is now the world's most dangerous man. His platform has become a battleground for disinformation and bigotry, pushing a culture war that fuels massive division, hatred, and social upheaval. Like the bumbling yet hubristic leaders in the Kubrick's satire, Musk's actions suggest a reckless disregard for the social consequences of his power. Instead of challenging disinformation, he validates it. Most of the Zionist report, most of the pro-genocide tweets and twaddles, you'll find them on X. If you go there, you don't even have to search it. It will just pop up. Why? Because these Zionists, these extremists, these terrorists, they're so famous on his platform that they tweet all the time, and their tweets and their post gets promoted without having them to do anything, literally. I see it all the time. Oh, Iran is bad. Oh, Houthis are bad. Oh, the people of Gaza, they're bad. Kill more children. Remember, I posted on my community tab where these Israelis, they believe that more kids should be killed in Gaza. Those kind of posts, those kind of, and the bigots, all these Zionist maniacs who promote this genocide, you'll find their videos on X, and they will never be censored. They will never get deleted. I think there is one guy who got deleted, but that's about it. And he openly promoted Gaza genocide, and he said we need to do it even more. But that's about it. Most of these users, most of the Zionist extremist terrorists on X do not get censored. Who are getting censored? The pro-Palestinian, the pro-humanity groups. They're getting censored. I'm getting censored. You are getting censored. But the Zionists, they're getting promoted instead. So the most dangerous person on earth, it doesn't have to be necessarily head of state. It can be someone like Elon Musk with massive amount of wealth. And now he has a lot of power because he is now close to Donald Trump. He actually, some reports said he's actually in charge of United States than Donald Trump. I don't buy the story, but can you imagine? It can happen. If Donald Trump is incapacitated, I can assure you that Musk will take over instead of J.D. Vance. I'm pretty sure about that. But this guy should be looked into. This guy should be investigated, Elon Musk, for all the crime he's committing against the people of Palestine through his platform X. Let me know if you think about what do you think about Elon Musk. Do you think that he's the most dangerous man alive today? Let me know in the comment section. Some comments here. Thank you so much for your comments. I'll see you in the next video.